Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of the 2020 version of the CoreArticle. The CoreArticle is the page that we want you to use for almost any type of publishing that you do. It does not change out the front page or newsletter pages or contact pages, but it can be used as a news page, information page, and a section page especially. 2020 gave the page a complete new design and a lot of new features that we've implemented to it because of different changes to the universal design scales and other different rules. We did a big change up in 2020. So let's just start with it. At the top of the article, you start with a main image. This main image will scale to its proportions. It will also delete the above and below parts of an image that does not fit within the preferred resolution, and therefore that reason we've added the preferred resolution in the red text above the image. If you want to add an image to it, you can go and find your image, of course, from wherever you are in the world with the different sections, or you can go and see if you can find some images. Of course, we have to select image first. And when you find your image, you can just drag and drop it. Drag and drop is, of course, something you do to all the articles, all features, and all sections around the entire Norway portal. As you can see, this image isn't perfect. It has a little bit of features cut, or the proportions doesn't meet exactly. So for that reason, you can see it also cuts the image above and below the frame. The guy in the red is full in the image, or is not cut in half, and in this case he is. So when you publish this image, let's just do it and I can show you. You can see that it fills up the frame and it cuts the image. So just make sure you don't end up with a lot of feet. Next up is, of course, you didn't see that, but from now on, or from 2020 on, the image text field is gone. The text field is still there, but it will automatically fetch information from the image. So if your image has a lot of text, like in this case, it only has the copyright text, it will only show freepik.com. But if you add image text to it, that image text will also be described underneath the image in the article. Underneath the image, you will have the heading or the name of the article. Previously, you can have an alternative heading added here, but the new design, or the 2020 design, has removed that feature. So if you change this name here, you will actually change the name of the article. We've seen that it's not really nice to the visiting user to click on a link and then suddenly enter something else. It's kind of a fake title, so for that reason we've removed that feature. So if you now scroll up and see the name, which is new designed and featured CoreArticle, if I now just change it to CoreArticle, you will see that the name up in the system folder changes also. But I'm just gonna go back so we get the old feature. So for that reason, name still the same, but you can now you've removed the alternative heading feature, which were there before. So now it's just the name of the article. Beneath that, we have the ingress. The ingress is the same as it's been before, but the difference now is that both the name and the ingress spans the entire width of the article, but the rest of the article does not. This is also something to do with a column width and the length of text when you're reading online. First thing up is, of course, the date. Today is 25th of February, and beside that we have the good old where is it text, which is location or additional information, something you just want to give the visiting user to point out something rational, something obvious, or whatever. Something smart. Underneath that, we have the first main body field, and this is where the base or the most big changes to the article comes in, because we now have two main body fields. Because in a lot of cases you want to add some text, and then you want to add an image below that text, and then you want another heading or subheading, and then you want to add more main body context text. So instead of allowing you to scale in different versions or in different types, I've just added an extra image field for you, which will scale and present the way we want it to, and so you can just drag and drop another image into that field. So first main body field will probably be something, so I'll just grab some text from one of my text fields or text areas. So let's see here. There we go. Just gonna grab some text from my external source. I usually use lorem ipsum. I know you don't understand Latin, but it's easy to just copy paste. There are a couple of changes to. Let's see. Try again. There's a couple of changes to the text field. A lot of you want to add images, inline images, and it doesn't really work that well when a small image or a person image or something like that just scales up to the entire width of the text. So what I've added to this feature is that you can add smaller images. For example, if I take one of these large images, of course you can just drag and drop, as you can do with everything else. When I press outside this, you can see that it only fills up 50% of the text. If you scale it down even more, it will scale down even more. And if the image is a small image, for example, a portrait image of a person or stuff like that, it will just scale down further to the left side of the field. And of course the text will just wrap around it. So if you want to do some changes or some specific features to this, it will wrap around the entire field. And that's really a new feature that we didn't have before. The rest of it is the same. You have your formats, your images, and everything else. Beneath that, I have a middle image. Now, if I do another image in there, I'll just drag and drop if I want to have it there. And you can see it scales perfectly to the width of the article. Also, if we publish, there may actually be some image text underneath it. In this case, it's creditation. If there were any more text added to that, it would also display underneath the image. Underneath that, we have the second heading field. Of course, as I said before, we have the first main body field, and the heading is the name of that field. But in some occasions, you may want to add a second heading field. So just a second heading. Now, let's grab some more text. Just gonna paste it. And of course, just find a place to add some space. And there we go. Now, publish and preview. Nothing special has been done to the article, but as you can see, it's not as wide as it used to be. And that's the main issue of the new design. The new design will be added, or information added to the left-hand side, and links, related links added to the right-hand side. And of course, you can add more information at the bottom. But I'm just going to scroll back up again and add the related links. If I want to add links to this field, I'll just click on related links area. Or if you want to add something from the internal structure, of course, you can just drag and drop it to that field. It will just then fetch the name or the heading of the article and publish it as a link. Want to add another one, just drag another one into the field if you want a third one, or maybe a fourth one as well. And from now on, I just found out I want an external link to some kind of media, VG, my go-to, for example. Click OK, and then you get a link to that area. Of course, there's also visual designs to this 2020 delivery. I'm not going to go through them here. You can find them in another video, or just click around and see if you can spot them all. When I click publish now, we've added all the links to the page, and I'll just preview it. As you can see, all the different links will be listed. Related links is a permanent name that's been added to all different language categories. You cannot change that name. If the translation is wrong for your language, of course, please contact Webdesk and point out our error. Now, let's skip down to a more familiar area. This is the same area as the same featured area as the CoreArticle has had before. It's where you add the accordions. Underneath that is related articles, which is just another way of adding articles to that core article that you're producing. So I can drag in the statement of Venezuela if I want. Of course, Security Council meeting, and yeah, maybe something else. Norway leads negotiations to something. There we go. There are. It's the same as the related links, but they will give a little bit more information about what you are linking to. Of course, also it looks quite different, and it gives you an introduction text to that area as well. So if we go and preview this now, just added some extra links. You can see that the text comes up quite nice. Next one up is we can do the address and newsletter block. This is just for when you want to add the newsletter block field. Because of its design and presentation, we've just added an extra area just for that. It's not for anything else than the newsletter block. So in 99% or more, you will be able to just skip that. Let's go up again to add accordions. You can add accordions, and let's see if I have some accordions just for the fun of it here. Nope, I'll just create an accordion, and there are 3 accordions still that you can choose from. I would recommend not using the links or contact accordion items for anything, actually. If you want, you can have the contact accordion item for the contact page or about page, but the link accordion items will disappear because we can just drag and drop the links in or create them beneath the article. There's no point in creating an accordion just for that feature. So text accordion item it is. I'm just going to do this quick and dirty. Just a name and a heading and some text. Let's see if I can go and find some full text for that. There we go. And create. The complete page is now been created, and this is the entire, or almost the entire, field of features for the core article. As before, there are one more feature. If you want to add articles underneath this page, of course you can. That is the section page version of the core article. So in this case, I'm just going to drag Norway elected to the Board of Governors underneath the new core article page. I will say it's okay. You can add it there. You can, of course, create as many pages as you want underneath that page. But the point here is that it will list the entire account or entire amount of articles beneath it. So if I had like 40, 50 articles beneath the new design and featured core article, I can drag in some more just for the fun of it. A historic opportunity. And they will just automatically be listed in the page when it loads. There we go. So now we have 3. And if you want, you can add a heading for that listed content, because you don't have to add a lot of information to this page. You can remove all the links if you want. It can be a section page. So, and the accordion, I don't really need this text. I can remove the second heading, because this is now going to be a section page for a theme something you wanted to present. I can also take away all the article or the main heading text. Can remove all the links. So instead of being an article, this is now a section page. It will present content the way you want it to be. So from all this, with all the content, all the links, all the accordions and extra information, I'll just refresh the page. And now it's just an image with sub-articles in it. And of course, with all the features available to this page, you can go into list alternatives after clicking on all properties, and you can select grid view, of course, if you want to do that. That changes the listed content from what we call now list view to what we call grid view. And grid view has more than one feature. It has the ability to present everything in a grid view, of course. But if you also have images to the article, or let's try and add an image to this one just for the fun of it. Now we've just added an image. If I now update this page, you will see that it adds an image to the article listed beneath the page. So there's a lot of different ways of using the CoreArticle. The last one I've shown you now is the section page, and if you want, you can just play around with that a little bit by yourself. It doesn't wreck, destroy, or alter anything that you add beneath it, so you can just drag it out again if you don't like it. It's the section page that I want you to use, so don't use the list page or section page or any of the old page types, just use CoreArticle. So if you want to create a section, create a CoreArticle first and then add articles beneath that article. Of course, article instead of section article, it's a mouthful, isn't it? So you can just try to figure this one out. So that's about it. I think there's no more features that I've managed to forget. Of course, it's a part of the fetch content feature, so it will have the this areas will be opened when fetch content is in use. Fetch content is also described in all the location. Social media metadata, something if you want to add it, it will help the social media accounts or the search engines find that information you want it to find. And of course, lists, alternatives, and settings. So that's a quick walkthrough of the CoreArticle. And if you want to pick out a couple of things of the design or the features of it, everything is drag and drop. And it's built now for a better presentation than it was before. And of course, user friendly. So it became a long videos, but now we're done. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.